Hi YouTube, it's Lena, and I'm here with another edition of products I've hit pan on. I did one of these last year, I think it was, sometime last year, and I have another 18 products that I've hit pan on. I actually hit pan on two other things, but I did wind up using them up, but I will name them off very quickly. They were just two face powders. They were the Essence All About Matte Powder and the Milani Prep Set and Go powder. I have hit pan on those and since used them up. So I will do face products and then I will do eye products, of which I have a ton of because I have my palette roulette that I try to hit a pan on an eyeshadow in hopefully what will eventually be every palette I own, which is terrifying because I think I own like 70, but we will do what we can until we go insane. So first, I do have another powder. This is the Soap and Glory One Heck of a Blot powder. There is, what was it? 0.31 ounces in here, which is a lot for a powder. So even though I have some good pan going on this, I do think it will take another couple of months to actually finish. Although, I can tear through a powder pretty easily. The next thing I have is a bronzer. I did hit pan in my Benefit Hoola bronzer last year. It is not a lot of pan, as you can see, but this took me quite a while to do, and I've had this for several years now, so that definitely took some time and some effort. So I have two blushes. One is cream and one is powder. The cream blush is in my Project 100 Colorful Empties this year. It is the Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush in Orchid Hush. Yep, Hush. So not only is there pan in the middle, it is completely flat. So I'm hoping this will be done in like the next month or two so that I can be done with it because I hate how I have to apply it to make it look decent. And I've shown that in videos before and why I really don't like it. But it doesn't look bad, so I keep using it. The other blush is an MUA blusher, actually, in Candy Floss, which is apparently like, what was that? What is that stuff called? Pink and fluffy, made of pure sugar. Cotton candy. It's cotton candy. Candy Floss is what they call it in the UK. But this is my pan right here. It is not a lot. Because I had to repress this because a friend of mine sent this to me, but it exploded in transit, unfortunately. So it wasn't super hard to hit pan. I am actually about to connect to the side of that pan. If I made an effort, I could probably finish this up with relative ease for a blush. So maybe next year, we shall see. And I do have a highlight, although I'm not sure where it is currently. Where did you go? Oh, here it is. I do have a highlight. I had to repress this, but I will try to insert a picture if I can find it of what it actually looked like. But this is the Pixie Beauty Blush Duo in Rose Gold. I was using the white highlighting side when I hit pan on it. And then one day I brought it in here to show for something, and I think it was the makeup I worked on in 2016, and I dropped it and broke it. So I took out the pink side because I didn't really want to use that anyway, and I repressed it. And there is some pan showing, but that's just because there's not quite enough to properly fill the container. But I did hit pan on it, and like I said, if I can find a picture of what it actually looked like when I hit pan on it in my Project 60 pan, I will show it to you. Next is eye area, although this might still count as face. It's the e.l.f. eyebrow kit that's also in my 100 Colorful Empties this year. I haven't used this in the past month or so because I'm trying to finish a brow pencil. But before that, I did hit pan on both the powder and the wax. My goal this year is to finish the wax and to use up as much of the powder as I can. I'm not going to throw it away if I don't finish the powder at the end of the year because it is actually a really nice powder. But the powder is going to take a heck of a lot longer to use up than the wax. So I do have two cream eyeshadow products. They are both Maybelline Color Tattoos. First one is in Barely Branded. This is in the permanent line. It's from the metals collection, I think they called it. But I've actually used up probably over half of that. So, not too surprised about that. This will definitely be done by the end of the year. I honestly think once I start working on it full time again, it will be gone in like 2 months because, yeah. This one honestly needs a good mixing because it's kind of dry, but I don't want to lose the pan, so I just kind of suck it up. It is in the limited edition shade Shimmering Sea. I think this was in the Bleached Neons collections a while back. And I do definitely have some good pan showing on that, but it goes all the way up the sides, so I probably only used up about a third of that. I would like to finish that at some point, but I don't want to cover that beautiful blue with something not blue, so I haven't been using it too much as of late. And the rest are all eyeshadows because I wasn't kidding. I've hit a pan on a lot of eyeshadows. So first, I'm going to show this little duo right here. I did this in the 12 Pans of Christmas last year. It is the Vintage by Jessica Leapskin duo, and I think it is called Vanilla and Espresso that I got in an Ipsy bag. These continue to be the creamiest damn shades I have ever used. And once I finish up Creme Brulee and my Pan That palette, I'm going to move on to this and finish it up. And honestly, unless this like works in my brows or something, I might not keep this once I have finished the white color because browns are a dime a dozen in my collection. And I have hit pan. This is actually a spoiler for my Pan That palette, and there's going to be a spoiler for my palette Roulette as well in here. I did hit pan on one of my shades, and that's still remaining in my Physicians Formula Canning Classics thing. This is it right here. I use it both in the crease of my eye with certain looks, not this one in particular, and I do use it as a contour as well, but the crease color is probably what made it hit pan, but using it as a contour is going to help me actually get through it faster and move on to the other brown shade in there. Also, I have my Too Faced Natural Eye palette, the really old one that I should probably work on finishing at some point. And I think finished 13 by Halloween last year, I hit pan on this. This is the shade Heaven. Once again, I can hit pan on these cream and white shades really easily. I just put them at my brow bone. I use them to blend out my crease, and if I'm really trying to use them up, I will even use them to set my under eye concealer. So that's why, like I've said before, they are not in my palette Roulette. I try to hit pan on a colored eyeshadow of some variety. So I think the rest of this is all definitely eyeshadows from Pan That palette, palette Roulette, and there is at least one for my Project 60 pan, so I guess I'll go over that first. This is a spoiler for my Project 60 pan. There's a lot of spoilers in this, but I've hit pan on a lot of stuff lately, which made me actually count up how much stuff I'd hit pan on and realize, oh, okay, I have a ton of things. I should film a video. This is my Makeup Revolutions palette in Neutrals versus Neutrals. This is the inner corner shade Style, or I use it as an inner corner shade anyway. So I'm probably going to be using this up until that next update. I hope to God you can see that. Just so that I can hopefully expand the pan a little bit more so it's not just this, you know, teeny tiny fleck of pan that it kind of is right now. When I took a picture of it initially, you could barely even see it, but I was so excited I had to share. So yeah, that's one right there. I'm actually still supposed to be trying to hit pan in another shade in there, but I don't think it's going to happen for that project. This is not really a spoiler other than how much pan is currently showing. For my Pan That palette, I'm trying to pan an Almay Trio, and I have hit pan on one of the shades. This is the light green shade that I wear all over my lid, and as you can see, I've hit a lot of pan. Now this is partially because these shades aren't very pigmented, they're just kind of old, but I don't want to throw them out. My sister gave them to me, I want to use them up. So hitting pan and using them up has not been very hard. I've just now started using the purple and the dark green from this palette. I guess I can show those to you as well. They are more outer corner slash liner shades, so they're not going too fast right now. But once I finish that light green, I will probably start using one of them as a lid shade to go ahead and move them out. The rest of this is actually my palette roulette, I believe. So here is a Profusion palette that I picked up from the Dollar Tree at some point. And I hit pan on this pink shade right here. I hope you can, yep, there's a good shot of it right there. And that was a lid shade. I have the Wet n Wild Blue Had Me at Hello. They no longer sell this palette, which is unfortunate because it's a very wonderful blue palette. And even though this is a brow bone shade, I used it all over my lid. But here is the pan right here. I actually really enjoyed using that shade. I did make a considerable dip in the white brow bone shade that I was using in my inner corner with it, but that wasn't what I was trying to hit pan on. That dip was just a happy accident. Let's see. I have my Naked palette that I made a faux Z palette for. So not only have I completely finished up 2 shades, one of which is not in here, I hit pan on the shade Naked at some point. A really long time ago I hit pan in Creep, but that's been there for ages. So I actually used that in my eyebrows along with using it in my crease a lot. So a way to help you hit pan quicker, if that is your goal, is to multitask shadows. I think most people know that by this point, but it is very true. Like, especially like those brown crease shades, if you have brown hair, they work great in the eyebrows. So this is a not Wet n Wild. Actually, this is by Wet n Wild because it's by Marquins. But this was one of the Disney palettes from Walgreens that they used to do, but I haven't seen any of them in a really long time. This was an Ariel palette, and I hit pan in the shade Dingle Hopper. And that is it right there. I hit a lot of pan. And these are really shallow pans because it only took me like a month of not even daily usage, just regular usage, 2 to 3 times a week to hit that pan. A good chunk of pan at that, like it's not even like, you know, a little fleck of pan. And finally, the spoiler for my next palette roulette is I finally hit pan in my Coastal Scents Think Pink palette. If you're just randomly tuning into this, don't watch those other videos of mine. First of all, you should. But also, this is actually an interchangeable eyeshadow palette. These are the Hot Pots that Coastal Scent sells. And this palette, you can just withdraw any of the shades and pop stuff in and out at your leisure. But I hit pan in the shade Light Plum. I actually only hit pan on this a day or 2 ago, but I'm using it for a couple of more days before I film that update so that hopefully I can expand the pan a little bit more. But this is what I'm wearing right now, although it has been on my face all day, so it is probably worn considerably. So that is it. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I do really appreciate it, and hopefully I will see you later. Bye!